Hello everybody and welcome back to Factorio. So last time we were here, we were able to get all of our basic resources up and running. Now, since I was playing, I've also played with my friend and with a couple of other things that I've been playing around with, so additional tips have popped up, so let's just get those out of the way first before we keep moving forward. So E to confirm. So basically, whenever you have menus up, you can push E to confirm instead of clicking the green button. I'm used to just clicking the green button, but yeah, you can push E to go ahead and confirm. Alright, so as you're building electric poles, right, electric poles will automatically connect to other electric poles that are within wire reach, right? They can have up to 5 connections. You can also manually connect poles together if you want to, by using copper cable. So yeah, you can shift left click in order to remove the cable, and then you can grab copper cable from your inventory and manually place the copper cable there. That helps for people like me with, crazy desires to make everything square. But I don't use it. I just have to get over the fact that not everything can be square. All right, logistics network. So, yeah, eventually, way later in the game, we're not going to get to this anytime soon, right? But way later in the game, we have the ability to create bots. Bots are amazing. Bots are fantastic. Bots completely change the way that the game works. So basically how this is bots need a home, right? So you've got your construction bots, which help you with construction. You've got your logistics bots, which help bring items around the base and to you. So that way you don't have to go run to your chests anymore manually and go pick everything up. Bots need a home. That's the RoboPort, right? So and then there's also different colored boxes that the logistics network uses, right? And we'll go over those boxes as needed. So, just reading this out loud, right? The logistics network is a powerful automated delivery network that utilizes flying robots to move items and perform automated construction. It has 3 major components: the RoboPort, which defines the area of network coverage and acts as a charging and storage point for robots. So basically around the RoboPort there's a zone, right? There's a green zone, which is the construction zone, and it's relatively large. And then there's the orange zone, which is the logistics zone, and it's quite a bit smaller than the green zone. So the logistics bots can only operate within the orange zones, and the construction bots can operate within the green zones, giving construction bots a little bit more range, which is nice because you'll use the construction bots to build additional RoboPorts and stuff like that to help expand the network. Alright, you've got logistics robots, which fulfills your logistics orders, right? Grabbing items and moving them from one place to another. And you've got construction robots, which performs construction orders, like, hey, build this blueprint, build this thing. And then you have provider chests, which supplies the network with items, and the different chests supply the network with items in different ways. Alright, and now it's completely unlocked all the other tips, so I guess we're going over all the chests now. I'll have to re-go over the chests as we go, right, once we actually get to this point, because again, this is a pretty far ways off. But I do want to get these out of the way. I don't want them chilling in the bottom left anymore. It clutters everything up. Alright, so the logistics robot moves items from logistic provider chests to fulfill personal logistics requests. So in this example here, you can see the engineer, right, the player, is requesting steel and green circuits, right? So the logistics bots are grabbing the green circuits from this chest and grabbing the steel from this chest and bringing them to the player. The personal logistics request has a minimum maximum count. The robots will bring you items until you have more than the minimum count. If you have more than the maximum count, then the items will be automatically moved into your logistic trash slots and then taken away by the robots. Okay, I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. So yeah, those are the logistics robots. So moving on. Construction robots do construction, right? So construction robots, they fulfill construction, deconstruction, upgrade, and repair orders from the logistic network. Construction orders are created by ghost building using blueprints, or when a friendly building is destroyed and needs to be rebuilt. Deconstruction orders are created by selecting the desired entities by using a deconstruction planner, and upgrade orders are created by the usage of an upgrade planner. These orders are also created when using the undo feature. So down here, once you unlock construction bots, or once you unlock bots in general, right? So if you haven't completed this game yet like I have, right, you might not have access to these icons down here. But when you unlock bots, these icons will also be provided to you. And so these are the blueprint, deconstruction planner, upgrade planner, and then blueprint books. So that way you can organize any blueprints that you create into a blueprint book, or download someone else's blueprint book. All right, passive provider chests. These are the red ones. These are the ones that you're probably going to use the most. But basically, a passive provider chest takes an item, stores it, and provides it as an item to the logistic network. So that means any items in the passive provider chest can be taken by robots in order to fulfill logistic or construction orders. So this is just your basic, here bots, here's the materials you guys need to go do stuff. So probably the most common chest you're going to use. The yellow chest, the storage chest, these store items taken from the player trash slots as well as deconstruction orders. Any items in the storage chest are also provided to be used for logistic or construction orders. You can also filter them to only accept one type of item if you would like to better organize them. But you typically don't have to, because again, the bots will use the items from the chests anyway during construction and logistic orders. So eventually, basically these things will cycle in and out as things happen. So you don't need to worry too much about keeping them organized, but if you would like to organize them, you certainly can. Alright, requester chests are the blue ones. Requester chests basically are requesting items from the network. So then the logistics bots will grab items from passive provider chests, or from other chests as well, and bring them to the blue chests, the requester chests. When you're setting up a requester chest, you also specify a number, like I want 200 green circuits, or I want 200 steel bars, right? That kind of thing. And then the logistics robots will bring those items to the requester chest. And in this case, they're dropping them onto a belt, so the request is never completely fulfilled. But, if there weren't a belt here, eventually the request would be fulfilled, and then the logistics bots would stop bringing stuff to the requester chest because the request has been filled. Active provider chests. So these ones try to push items onto the network, meaning they do not want to hold on to things as much as possible. So if there's available storage chest space, if there's available passive provider chest space, if there's any requests at all whatsoever, they will come from these boxes first. The purple chests do not want to hold things. They will hold things if they must, but they don't want to. They want to push everything out onto the network. So they are priority number 1 for bots to grab from. Okay, buffer chests act as both requester chests and passive provider chests. So basically they provide items for construction jobs, personal logistics, and requester chests with request from buffer chests enabled. So you can essentially have the buffer chests contain a certain number of items. You can have requester chests request from buffer chests specifically in order to provide those requests. It's kind of an intermediary kind of situation, and to be honest, I don't use them as much as I probably should. So I don't understand them very well. I would have to experiment with them more in order to explain them better. But more or less it combines the functionality of requester chest and passive provider chest. But what I find, at least with the way that I build factories, I find that passive provider chests and requester chests by themselves work just fine. But all good. All good. Okay, copy and paste. So there's copy and paste icons down here, right? The copy icon down here, the cut icon down here, and then I believe this is the paste icon here. I could be wrong, but I don't really use the icons, right? It uses your typical Windows copy-paste shortcuts. So if you're used to those, you'll be able to do them here too. So Control-C in order to copy, Control-V to paste. You can use the Shift mouse wheel up and down in order to scroll through your clipboard history. So you don't just have one item in your clipboard history, you can have a lot of items in your clipboard history. Excuse me. So, yeah. So as you want to copy and paste stuff, Control-C to copy, Control-V to paste, Shift mouse scroll up, Shift mouse scroll down in order to go through your clipboard history. Goodness. Okay, with all that out of the way, let's get to building stuff. So we have a couple of routes we can go, right? We have a couple of routes we could go. We could immediately shoot for red science in order to continue our research, which I'm tempted to do. Another route we could go is we can automate electronic circuits because, having played this game, I know you're always going to need a bajillion electronic circuits, green circuits. You're always going to need a billion of them, an absolute ton of them. So we might automate these first and then go for red science. The other route we could go is we can automate these first and then start a small mall, right? Get automated assembly of our common use items, belts, underground belts, splitters, inserters, that kind of stuff, which is also really helpful. So I think what I want to do is I want to go green circuits first and then red science, and then we can do mall. So yeah, let's do it. So let's see, what do we currently have in our inventory? We've got radars, we've got our stuff set up. I'm gonna move I'm gonna move our labs to somewhere closer to the bus, so that way when we start routing science around, we can like route them over the other things that we've built and route them into the labs. Let's grab some more of these. Let's supply more iron to stuff. Let's see, we have a lot of gear, so I'm not going to worry about supplying iron to that. Supply iron to that. That's doing just fine on copper. Let's supply half our iron to that, and then that's why we got tons of iron. Alright, well, whatever. We'll throw about half the iron we have in here, too. Get some more gears. Gears are always good. Belts are always good. Alright, what do we need to actually build? We need some more assembly machines. I also want a few more labs, so let's construct a few more labs. We'll do like 10 labs for now. We're going to want more later, I'm sure, but we'll start with 10 labs for now. And then I'm going to want more assembly machines, so we'll just start building those as well. 10, 20, we can start with 20 of those. Alright, so for labs, let's see, I'm thinking I can just stick them up here. So I'm just going to grab power poles, bring them up here. And then grab our labs here. And then go like that. 10. So there's our 10 labs. Sorry for the sniffles, guys. I think I've got allergies today. Either that or I'm getting sick. I hope it's the former. I hope it's allergies and not sick. But you never know. I do have a toddler, so it is very possible that I am getting sick, and I just hope that's not the case. Okay, lovely. We have lab set up. Let's go ahead and shove a belt here too, just so that way we can route the science. And then I'm going to go ahead and pick up I'm just going to clean this area up. So that way things are easier to route once we get there. Again, just to reiterate, like I said at the start, I'm going to take my time with this playthrough. So settle in, grab some popcorn, all that fun stuff. We're not rushing to anything. I'm going to try to take the time to explain everything that I'm doing. I'm going to take things slowly, make sure that everything is nice and good and calm and cool and relaxed. So yeah. If you do want things to be sped up, then feel free to jump around the videos, feel free to play the video at a faster rate. Something I've been thinking about doing is there's a YouTuber I like to watch for Factorio videos, named Doshington, I think is his name. The way that he edits his videos is really interesting. And on the one hand, I really like it because it makes it very entertaining and very compressed and compact. But on the other hand, I don't like it as much all the time because I don't always understand what it is that he's done, right? So if I'm trying to learn from what he's done, I don't always learn from what he's done. Alright, so let's start working towards our green circuits, right? So green circuits require 1 iron plate and 3 copper cables. And so that means that you want to feed 3 copper cables into 1 assembler of green circuits and then also give that assembler 1 iron plate. Now, when you go to assemble copper cables, 1 assembler will do 2 copper cables at a time, but you want 3. So now you're thinking, well, then I guess I'll put 2 assemblers per 1 green circuit. Well, you can also share, right? So you can do 3 copper cable assemblers to 2 green circuit assemblers. And then that way they can share from that middle copper cable assembler in order to get the 3 and 3. So that's the structure we're looking to get. One sec. All right, I'm back. So yeah, so that's the structure you're looking to get. So we're going to go ahead and build, and I like to give lots of space in between, right? Because again, we don't have biters turned on, so we have all the space in the world to play with. use the space, right? As I keep saying. So I like to put lots of space in between in case I need to route belts in between various structures. So I'm going to just put a whole bunch of space. Sometimes I'll count an exact amount just because I like things nice and symmetrical, but in this case I'm just going to be like, all right, well, I generally speaking want, you know, the assemblers to start here, and then I'm going to do like 10 copper assemblies, copper cable assemblies. And then that means I'm going to want there, 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 and there. So you're going to do copper cable. You're going to do green circuits. To copy and paste recipes like that, you shift right click to copy, shift left click to paste. And that's how you copy and paste recipes onto assembly machines like that. And then what we're going to do, right, is we're going to route the copper up this way. So that way these assembly machines can take that. We're going to route the iron up this way. So that way these assembly machines can take that. And I didn't think about this at first, but I'm going to need some long-handed inserters, right? Because I want to do the same thing on the other side. So let's go ahead and get some more resources. Luckily for us, we've got everything nice and backed up, so I'm going to grab a whole bunch of iron plate here. And then I'm going to build some more assembly machines, 10, 20. And then I'm going to build a bunch of long-handed inserters. I'm going to build like 100 of them. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. And I'm going to build 100 yellow inserters to kind of replace those. Because long-handed inserters, red inserters, they eat yellow inserters if you already have them in your inventory. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Okay. That should get the ball rolling. So yeah, let's go ahead and duplicate this on the other side. So I'm going to do... So what you could do, right, is you can hit copy, like that. And then you can push F to flip, and then paste, like that. Boom. So Control C to copy. It grabs it. If you do clear your hand with Q, you can push Control V to bring it back up. F to flip whatever you're holding, right? So F to flip it, and then you can paste. And then that way we know exactly where the structures need to go. So then we can just place our structures right over the ghosts. And when you copy and paste blueprints like that, it also copy and pastes the recipes too. Okay, I need one of these belts to go down, so I'm going to go ahead and just make this one go down. Because we want to output the green circuits, right? So, lovely. So there's that. Giving some time for the inserters to craft. So let's see, this is going to have to output that way. And that means this is going to have to input this way. Almost getting back to our yellow circuits, or our yellow inserters. Eventually we want to upgrade our yellow inserters to blue ones, so that way it works just a little bit faster, but we'll at least get the ball rolling with the yellow inserters. Okay. So we want that, and then insert. Because the iron's going to come up this way on the right belt. So insert, insert, insert. And then input, output, right? So input, output, input, output, input, output, input, output, input, output. And that doesn't seem quite... that doesn't seem right, actually. No, what I've done here is I've actually done 2 per green circuit, which isn't quite right. Hold on, let me try to redesign this. I did 2 per green circuit when I talked about how you could do 3 cables per green circuit. So let's try to reconstruct this like this, I think, is what I want to do. So then we have input and then 2 outputs. So that way these 2 green circuit assemblers share this one copper cable assembler, and then they get their own copper cable assembler to get the 3 that they need. So that should work. So I'm going to go ahead and tear this. Well, I'll keep these placed down because I don't need to tear those up. But I do need to tear these down. So I want there, and then I want there, and there, and then this is an extra one that I don't need, at least at the moment. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. We figured it out, see? It's all good. It's all good, we figured it out. So now we need to input, output, output. And then this needs to input. And then we have input, output. And then this needs to input. And then we need these two input. And then we need these two output. And then let's get this powered, or at least the power figured out. I think we'll want to do it this way. I think that will work. Great, awesome. So now let's go ahead and tear this down a little bit and then basically do the same thing on this other side. So here. Oh no, that's not quite right. Let's do here, and here, remove that guy. There we go. And then here we want to output. So this needs to be input. And then we need these two output. Let's go ahead and shift right click, shift left click to paste. And then we need lots of inputs, right? So input, output, and then input, output, output. Lovely. And then we'll get the power poles all set up. There we go. So let's power this on, make sure we don't get any more blinking icons, right? So I'm just going to drag the power poles here in between. Lovely, no blinking icons, so that's all powered up. So now we just need to route the resources in, right? So we need to go ahead and take our resources off the bus. So we want copper to go up this way, right? So we want to go ahead and bring copper under our iron, and I actually want to make sure that I leave space for a 4th belt. And then what we're going to do is we're going to split the copper off of the bus and bring it up, right? So you can use splitters like that in order to bring the copper up. If you really want to make sure that everything gets the resources they need and also to fully drain the bus until everything backs up, you can also use output priority in order to make sure that all of the resources possible will flow off of the bus and towards where you're putting it. So that way you know really quickly whether or not you're running out of resources and you need to go get more. So I prefer to do the output priority thing. A lot of people don't. A lot of people just do regular splitting, and that works just fine. So you do you. It's totally fine. You do not have to output priority. But I prefer to output priority. We need more belts. We're running out of belts. So let's go ahead and handcraft some. And then let's also go over to our mall thingy dingy and get some more. I think I'm going to tear this up too. We're almost at the point where we don't really need this anymore. So I'm just going to tear it all down. It has served us well, but it has served its purpose. Your services were great, but they are no longer required. Ooh, 400 belts. That was lovely. Oh, that powered off our radar over there. So let's go ahead and power that back on. There we go. Our radar's turned back on. Hooray! Okay. So now we've got the belts we need. Hooray! And we're going to get more once all the gears are done crafting those darn intermediate parts. But don't worry, we're going to be building them all eventually, and then we won't have to handcraft anywhere near as often. So these have all the resources they need, and you can see they already have plenty of copper cable ready to hand off, right? But these need the resources too. So we're going to go ahead and move our bus along. Move the bus along. And then again, we want to bring the copper, right? So copper up. Copper up. You can also shift right click, shift left click to copy and paste priority too. So you can shift right click, shift left click for recipes on assemblers, shift right click, shift left click on splitter configurations. You can also shift right click and shift left click on box configurations. So for example, let's say I only want like 2 slots on this box, and then I place like 3 more boxes, and I want these boxes also to only have 2 slots each, right? Well, you can shift right click, shift left click, and now they're all following the same filter method. So lovely, lovely, lovely. Anyway, let's go ahead and bring our copper up. And then we need to bring the iron up. So iron up. And there we go. Everything should start kicking out green circuits here shortly. Now, what I don't know is how many assemblers of green circuits will fully compress this yellow belt. So as we get more resources and as we upgrade to blue inserters, eventually I'll figure out how many we need to build here, and then we'll build a full column of a compressed yellow belt of green circuits. And then because I know we're going to need a lot of green circuits, I want to put the green circuits onto the bus. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to put it into its own section. I'm going to have like a specific green circuit section. So lovely. We now have green circuits. Excellent. So now that we have green circuits, we can go ahead and make our way to building a mall or working our way to red science. Red science didn't even need green circuits, but I wanted to get the green circuits out of the way because we are going to need so many of them. Oh my goodness. So getting that out of the way is just super helpful. All right, so let's do red science. So red science needs iron gear wheels and copper plates, right? And red science takes 5 seconds to craft. A iron gear wheel takes half a second to craft. So that means 1 assembler of iron gear wheels will be able to supply enough iron gear wheels for 10 red science. So if I build 2 assemblers of iron gears, I can support 20 red science. So let's just do the 10 for now. If we need to build more, we can build more. So, yeah. Oh, why did I do that? There we go. There we go. Just bringing the bus along for the ride as we continue to build. And it looks like we're going to run into a lake looking at the mini-map. So it appears I might have chosen the wrong way to build the bus. We're going to have to move the bus like south or north, right? But it's all good. We're going to run into a lake. But that's okay. You can just move things around. It's all good. Anyway, let's go ahead and get things set up. I'm leaving a lot of space down here in case I need to move things back and forth around the bus, right? Things like pipes, for example. Eventually we're going to do things like oil and oil processing, and that requires pipes. And sometimes you'll have to pipe things around in your bus too, and having this extra space just makes that a little bit easier. So yeah. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put a little bit of space here, and then I'm going to do a gear assembler. That's going to need 2, right? Because each gear takes 2 iron plates. And then we're going to go ahead and output. Let's go ahead and split that off the bus. Whoops. Whoops. Mouse accuracy today is not great. Copy, paste. And then we're going to route that up and over like that. Perfect. So now we have the iron gears. So now that we have the iron gears, I'm going to go ahead and output these onto a belt. And I may even... Do I want to balance it? Sure, why not? Let's go ahead and balance it. It's fine. That way we get gears on both sides. And that way if there's any buffer or anything like that, it can build up a little bit more. And then here we're going to put our science, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Continue to bring the belt up. So that's going to take care of the gear part of the red science. Now we just need to bring copper up, right? So copper we'll just bring up this way. Or you know what we could do? Because that's going to be a lot of wasted gears, I think. Oh, I don't know. I'm removing the belt. I'm still going to need that belt. What we could do even is... I'm actually not sure what side of the belt this will put on. I think it might be the right side, but I could be wrong. So let's go ahead and power it on and find out. What side do you put on? Okay, you put on the right. Hold on just 1 second. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Sorry about that. Life happens and I get interrupted from time to time, but it's all good. So I was in the middle of putting this together. Oh, I remember what I was doing now. Okay, so the red science, right? It needs copper plates and iron gears. We've now got the iron gears rolling. What I want to do now is I think I'm just going to put the copper plates right alongside the gears. Just nice, easy, simple, done and dusted. So, yeah. I'm just going to stick that there. Oop, stick that there. Pull it up. Again, we're going to use our splitters. Copy, paste. Pull that up. Pull that up. Pull that up. And then we're just going to side load it. And there we go. Now we have copper and gears going. So now what we can do is we can just input and output. Input, output, input, output, input, output, input, output, input, output, input, output, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. And there we go. That's red science. And if we need to expand this later, we could always add additional gears. We can use splitters to route things up 2 ends, you know, whatever. It's totally fine. But this should get us rolling plenty just fine. I'm not too worried at all about this. And there we go. Now we're getting red science. Look at it go. We're getting red science. So now what we need to do is we need to route the red science, right? So let's do that. So we're going to take the red science and we're going to, where's our labs at? Our labs are way up here, and that's fine. So I'm just going to stick ghosts up there just to help me figure out exactly where I'm routing things to. There we go. All right. Let's go ahead and route. I also need to start building lights. Do I have lights yet? Do I have optics yet? I do not. Okay, well that's going to be one of the first things we research. That way I can start putting lights in the factory. Make life a little bit easier for you guys. Oops. Do 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 do. I don't know if that's enough red science for 10 labs. We'll find out. We'll just have to monitor and see. So yeah, over the course of time as we build the factory, we'll monitor and see whether or not the red science is keeping up or if we have to add more. And if we have to add more, cool, no worries, totally fine. We'll just add more. That's the great thing about Factorio. You can just always build bigger, build more. It's all good. So while we wait for the red science to make its way down the belt, I'm just going to clear this area up here because more resources is always a good thing. And cleaning things up is also always a good thing, so that way you've got the room and the space in order to actually build stuff later on down the line. All good. I don't have research queue enabled, do I? Ooh, I do. Go me. Go me. Past David was smart and remembered to enable the research queue. Most of the time when I start a new game, I forget to enable the research queue. So I always just end up researching one thing at a time. It's going to be great. We can just queue all the red science stuff up. And then it can just work back to back to back to back. Alright, look, our labs are getting red science. We have automated red science, ladies and gentlemen. Life is great. And as you can see, the gears are keeping up okay. All the red science machines are whirring along. Everything is looking good. Everything is looking good. Let's go ahead and kick off some research. So let's do optics. And then I'm just going to research everything. Even though we have biters turned off, I just like to research everything, right? Just to get it all done and dusted. So we're going to do lights, and then I'm going to do things in a little bit of an order, but I'm going to do electronics, and then I'm going to do fast inserters because I want those relatively quickly. And then we'll just do the rest left to right. So gun turret's fine, walls are fine, military is fine, steel. Okay, and let's let it ride. Look how fast that's going. It's going so much better now. This is great. Automated red science. So yeah, we're looking good. And this is a good place to go ahead and end the video. So next time we hop on, one of the next things I want to do is actually start working on a mini mall, right? Getting the stuff that we use all the time automated. So that way we can just go to our mall, pick up our stuff, and keep building the factory. So that's going to be our main goal for next time. And then we'll make any additional progress that we can make within roughly an hour, right? So maybe we'll get up to green science next time. Not 100% confident that we will, but who knows, maybe. Also, just kind of monitoring here, looks like red science is keeping up just fine, so not too concerned. But like I said, if we need to build it bigger, we've left plenty of room for us to build bigger, so no worries there. Alrighty, well hopefully this was informative, helpful. Again, sorry for the interruptions. Life just happens. It happens, no worries. Anyway, take care of yourselves, have a wonderful rest of your day, and have a fantastic weekend. I'll see you all next time.